Thank you so much. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Really inspiring just to hear from Howard Buffett just now. Amazing. And thank you, Alina, for keeping me on your international leadership panel. Thank you to Larry for all your kindness and support. And thank you to all of you who back CEPA, because CEPA is doing absolutely vital work in explaining why this issue matters so much, continuing to explain why this issue matters so much, both to policymakers here in Washington and indeed in my country and in the rest of Europe, and dispelling some of the lies and the propaganda from the Kremlin that is starting to find its way into the most extraordinary places, not least on the conservative right, I'm sad to see. And we need to dispel the myth in particular that Putin is winning this war. He's not winning this war. He's going to lose this war. Ukraine is going to win. My friends, CEPA, beloved CEPA, Ukraine is going to win this war, and it is going to win all the faster if we give them the help that they need. Look at what they're doing, destroying Putin's gasoline facilities. I think half of the refineries have been seriously damaged. Now 16 out of 38, and we're getting on for half of them. 20% down in his gasoline production, real shortages, real problems in the Russian economy. Why don't we now, as the West, step up and do 5 things? I'll be very, very quick. 5 things we need to do. I've said them before to some of you, but I'll say it again. Number 1, what the hell is going on with the Euroclear account? Why can't we shift it? Dear, beloved European colleagues, ambassadors, I see you here. Come on, co-repair. What are you doing? Get that thing cleared, get that cash to the Ukrainians, $150 billion at least. Get it to the Ukrainians where it belongs. They have a moral right to it already. Number 2, give the Ukrainians the permissions to use the weapons they already have, for heaven's sake. Let's not delay with the Tomahawks. And what about the Tauruses, the Tauruses? What's happening to them? 1,000 of them. Who are the Germans going to use them on? Luxembourg, come on. Get the Tauruses to Ukraine. Number 3, crack down on that shadow fleet. Crack down properly on that shadow fleet. Why, I would not weep hot tears if one of them was sunk, pour encourager les autres. Number 4, and this is very, very important. Europeans, beloved friends, fellow Europeans, we must follow Trump and look at what Trump is doing in punishing those, by tariffs or whatever, those who use Putin's hydrocarbons and therefore finance his war machine. And I'm just telling you folks, we cannot allow too much daylight to grow between what the President of the United States is doing in putting tariffs on China and India and what we in Europe are doing. I'm just putting it out there, folks. We can't afford to let that go on. We have to respond, and we will have to act. And number 5, if there is a coalition of the willing, if there is to be a coalition of the willing ready to put boots on the ground, my question to all of us is, why not now? Under no circumstances is this force ever going to be used to do war fighting in Ukraine. Never. That's not what it's there for. So what is the objection to sending the coalition of the willing to Ukraine now, since vast parts of Ukraine are perfectly safe? Most of us have been there very, very recently. There's no reason why the coalition of the willing shouldn't get its act together and deploy to Ukraine now, just to make this vital point, that it is up to the Ukrainians to decide which foreign forces come to Ukraine and not to Vladimir Putin. And we should do that now, because otherwise, frankly, the coalition of the willing is going to look like the coalition of the waiting, my friends. And the coalition, maybe the spirit may be willing, but the flesh is weak. So we need to get on and do it. Do those 5 things. Do those 5 things, and we can, and I believe we can help the Ukrainians much more speedily than a lot of people now think, to finish this job and push Putin back. Get it done. Get it done. And finally, and it comes to the burden of what I have to say, to the main point of what I have to say to you tonight. None of this would be possible. None of the discussions that CEPA leads would be possible without the constant flow of reliable information, often brought to us in circumstances of incredible difficulty and with incredible courage by the Ukrainian media. We're about to hear I want you to turn your attention to a video introduction of the recipients of the 2025 Freedom Fighter Award, and shortly accepting it on behalf of the entire Ukrainian journalist community. You're going to see Sevgil Musaeva, Chief Editor of Ukrainska Pravda, and Olga Rudenko, Chief Editor of the Kyiv Independent. But first, folks, the video.
When authoritarianism thrives on silence, journalists speak out. When silence fosters injustice, journalists tell the stories of victims. When silence erases history, journalists chronicle for the future. In Ukraine, where war attempts to obscure reality, 2 journalists have refused to be silent and have raised voices that the world cannot ignore. Sevgil Musaeva, Chief Editor of Ukrainska Pravda, and Olga Rudenko, Chief Editor of the Kyiv Independent, stand on the front lines of truth. As leaders of Ukraine's most influential and independent newsrooms, they have fought to document their nation's struggle with clarity, courage, and conviction. They have led investigative efforts to uncover and document war crimes, amplifying survivor testimonies, and gathering evidence to serve as a vital resource for internal bodies pursuing justice and accountability. Together, their commitment to journalistic integrity and transparency has played a crucial role in documenting the realities of war and advocating for justice in Ukraine. Both Sevgil and Olga understand that the truth is not just a journalist's duty, but a nation's defense. Sevgil, a proud Crimean Tatar, became one of the most prominent voices speaking out for those left voiceless, those whose stories the Kremlin sought to erase. Under her leadership, Ukrainska Pravda has become more than a news outlet. It is a force for accountability, a guardian of memory, and a living record of a nation's fight for freedom. Since the founding of the Kyiv Independent in 2021, Olga has built a newsroom that serves as a front line of democracy. Amid war and censorship, her team delivered fearless reporting to the world to ensure that Ukraine's story is heard, never forgotten. Both Sevgil and Olga exemplify journalistic integrity, democratic resilience, and the moral force of free expression. In the darkest moments of war, they have stood firm, proving that even under attack, freedom begins with the truth. For their unwavering courage, unflinching leadership, and unyielding commitment to a democratic and sovereign Ukraine, CEPA is proud to present the Freedom Fighter Award to Olga Rudenko and Sevgil Musaeva.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.